Hi, Will Riley here with a video about the Thetford cassette toilet in my Tada. This is the model number 402C. I'll be showing you today some tips on long-term storage and also some light maintenance for the Thetford cassette toilet. Some of the things you'll need for these particular maintenance items are olive oil, a thin blade, and a screwdriver. I'll start with this handle. This becomes loose over time. I don't know if any of you have experienced that or not, but this happens to me periodically. The screws just become loose under here, so I'll show you how to take care of that right now. I take my thin blade, and this top portion here is just a cap, so you can get in between there, take that off, and you'll notice that there are two screws here and here, and those just need to be tightened up. Just like that. So then your handle's nice and tight. Put your cap back on. These two posts here go in these holes. Click. And there you have it, nice and tight again, no longer loose. You can imagine that can definitely cause some problems when you're trying to empty this if your handle comes loose. So definitely want to keep track of that. And so now we will go ahead and move on to our float panel here. This has several different parts to it. Each part that moves independently also has arrows, and I'll try to show you some close-ups of that. These two arrows meet up here, so you know that you're putting this in the correct way, so you don't put it in the wrong side. This would definitely cause it to operate incorrectly, so you want to make sure that you put your arrows in how they belong. And then also on this circular panel here, there's an arrow there pointing to one position, and then you can see another position here where you can slide your arrow as well. This piece here becomes a tool for removing this panel. I don't like to use any metal tools on this plastic because it could really damage it and chew it up. So what I do is slide this out partially, and then I can grab here and I can use this as leverage to turn this whole panel just like this, and it moves to the other position. So our arrow has moved from position 1 to position 2, and then we can remove this, open this up, and then just remove this whole panel here. Now I have already lubricated my seals with olive oil. You can see it all over my fingers here, and I've also already cleaned this, disinfected it very well. I do this at the end of every season, and so I'm not getting any kind of gross stuff on me other than olive oil right now. But I suggest that you do that as well. It's much easier to clean once you remove this panel. So if you could do that first before you get really into it with your disinfection and all that, then it's much easier to do. But you can see I've already put some olive oil around here, and that's basically just to keep the seals nice and supple over time, because in long winter storage, depending on where you're putting it, if you leave your cassette toilet in your Tada, it's probably more susceptible to drying and cracking. These seals will break down over time. They are a wearable item, so they will wear out, and they will eventually dry out and crack, and they will leak. And once that begins to happen, there's no reconditioning them. You have to get a new one. And Thetford does sell these parts. But this gasket, here's the lip gasket. This gasket here is, I don't know, the panel gasket. I don't know what the official name for it is, but there is a rubber seal that goes all the way around this panel here. So you've got the two rubber seals that you need to condition and make sure that they stay nice and supple. And I always just store my cassette toilet in my basement. I do the conditioning here and I store it in my basement, and that's where I keep it for the winter. I don't leave it in my Tada. So once you've got your rubber seals all conditioned with the olive oil, then go ahead and just use this again to put this back where it belongs. It should only go in one way, and you can see your arrow here from position 2, and then turn back to position 1, close it up, and you're good to go. So there you have it. Just a couple of maintenance items to keep your toilet in good condition for as long as possible. Any questions, just send me a message on Facebook.